don't know if there's times she comes off ball screens where she's open in that long 2 area, and we've got to get her comfortable taking that long 2.
The WNBA season is starting tomorrow, and obviously the biggest draw in the WNBA is Caitlin Clark. There's a lot of big draws, honestly. Like, the new guard, the rookies, people are still interested in Angel Reese. People are going to be interested in watching Cameron Brink play Cardoso. People are going to be interested in watching Breanna Stewart, Aja Wilson, Kelsey Plum, Ionescu, the likes of those that have been great for years. But the thing is that Caitlin Clark might be in one of the worst situations possible right now, because she has got a coach that is trying to coach everything out of her. Basically, Caitlin Clark is the type of player, like the way she plays the game, the pace she plays the game, the shots she takes, that's the reason people are interested in her. And her coach is basically saying she has bad decision making. She has to take 0.5, every time she catches the ball, she needs to make a decision on what she's doing within 0.5 seconds. Like, how? Have you watched Caitlin Clark play basketball? You're the coach of the Indiana Fever. You're getting paid for this. Have you watched Caitlin Clark play basketball? Caitlin Clark has to control the whole thing. She's not going to stand there and be a system player. She is a system. And people want to watch her because she's the system. People want to watch that system. It's the most interesting system. Again, the talent level's always been there. The ability level has always been there for women's basketball. Well, by always, I mean, in the last while, obviously there's been players in the past like Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie at the start of WNBA, whose talent level is unbelievable, but in recent years the talent level is getting there. Skill level is getting there as a whole, but at the same time, the Caitlin Clark system is what people are wanting to watch. She's basically like going all old school, trying to get Caitlin Clark to shoot more twos. And I kind of get it. Like, it's not in a way of like, oh, everything's either a 3 or a layup. It needs a bit more of a mid-range game to be less predictable. I legitimately think that she's trying to coach 1980s basketball. And obviously, like, the evolution of basketball has been a bit different in the men's and the women's side. In the women's side, you're still seeing power forwards that can't shoot the ball, whereas that's been eradicated from the men's game, especially at the higher level. Even in Europe, it's a lot less likely to see that. But at the same time, like, this coach, she's going to lose her job. She's going to lose her job trying to fix a player that doesn't need fixing. The issue is that she's obviously has no experience dealing with a player like Caitlin Clark. She has no experience dealing with how she plays. So rather than her using the preseason to try build a system around Clark so that not only Caitlin Clark can play as she plays, because obviously that's what's going to bring in the eyes, but also her teammates can get used to that, because it is a system that's going to win, because it's a pace that that nobody in the WNBA can keep up with. The way Caitlin Clark can play the game, she's getting full court press from behind the halfway line. Like, she's going to, as of right now, I think she's going to struggle early on in her career, because she's basically, her coach wants her to be I don't even know what her coach wants her to be. Her coach just wants her to be another player. She's Caitlin Clark. She is Caitlin Clark. And I'm sorry, like, if you can't figure out how to utilize Caitlin Clark, then it's on you. It's on her. Why is she trying to make Caitlin Clark a cog in her system? The Indiana Fever sucked last year. They're one of the worst WNBA franchises. She is a losing coach. She hasn't won anything. Her teams don't even have not even that they don't have great records. The teams don't even have good records. She's been a losing coach. Why is she trying to turn the biggest talent the league may have ever seen into a system player in her losing system? Why is she trying to do that? Like, and I get it. She's come out and almost reluctantly talked about how she's going to have to run through Caitlin Clark. She definitely got a call from, her boss being like, what are you doing? And not only that, she's publicly criticizing her players. Whatever about people saying like, oh, the greats of the game criticizing Caitlin Clark is going to take away from the hype. Her coach can't do it publicly. And you know what? Some of the things, fair enough. Caitlin Clark does some wild things. And you know what? You can't just let a player do whatever the hell they want. There are certain things you're going to have to coach players. But as someone who coaches at a decent level, like, I coach pros. Like, I coach in the second top league in Irish basketball. Not every player on our team's a pro, but I coach pros. Like, the issue is that when it comes to any sort of a system at high level basketball is you build your system around your players. You don't try to change how a player plays to fit a system. Especially when they're your best player. If it's a role player, sure, you can try to mold them into the system. But if it is your best player, you build around your best player. You do not try to make your best player a cog in your system. No. You build the system around the best player. Obviously, the way Iowa played, because of the lack of talent, like I know, again, Cesano very good, Kate Martin very good, but comparatively, the lack of talent compared to the Indiana Fever, and also the better competition she's going to be playing against, you can't go literally in a we go where Caitlin goes system. But it's got to be entirely built around her. The system has got to be Caitlin Clark, Aliyah Boston, everybody else. And Clark and Boston have not looked great together because Boston obviously doesn't run the floor. Oh, she hasn't been running the floor that well so far in preseason, but she'll figure it out. And I think with a good coach, Caitlin Clark will figure out how to become more efficient. She'll figure out how to be more efficient. She'll get the ball to the other players on her team in positions to set them up. It's not going to be exactly like Iowa. She's not going to be the focal point. But if Caitlin Clark is being told to shoot long twos, is being told she's not allowed dribble, come off, step to the left, hit the shot, sorry, she released it from here, step to her left, shoot, triple step backs, deep threes, attack right, and when they overplay the right hand, pull back into pull-up threes. If she's being told not to do that, everyone's going to turn off the TV. People are watching Caitlin Clark to see Caitlin Clark, and that's the unfortunate truth of it. People are not seeing Caitlin Clark to see a shell of herself because a coach basically thinks that they know better than the player, which fair enough. Like, the coach might know better. A coach might know better, and if you're the coach, you're obviously the authority. But there are times where you not only are in a position where you can lose your job, you can ruin the future of this league. And that's the scary thing, is if Caitlin Clark is basically not allowed to be Caitlin Clark in her first 4 or 5 games, the Caitlin Clark fans will turn off the WNBA. As somebody who, again, likes basketball, I couldn't give a flying FUCK about the Summer League this year because I couldn't care less about any of these rookies. I'll be watching quite a bit of the WNBA. I watched quite a lot of it last year, albeit, like, when I say I watched quite a lot of it last year, I'd watch the Aces, I'd watch the Liberty. Every now and again there'd be a matchup like when Boston faced Aja Wilson with the Fever and Aces last year where I'd watch, but it's like, this year I'll probably watch more. But at the end of the day, the casual fans want to watch their stars. They want to watch their Angel Reese. And the difference is that, well, Angel Reese is going to fit into any system. The way she plays, she's going to fit into any system. She's just, again, she's a energizer bunny who's going to help everything. Because, like, Angel Reese will raise the defense of any team. She'll raise the energy of every team. But Caitlin Clark is basically, she's been the focal point. There are certain players that you just know when they're not the focal point, they're not going to be as good. And unfortunately, I'm being wrong. Caitlin Clark seems like that type of player. She doesn't seem like a player who's going to be a great third option, but she might completely change your franchise to first option. And her coach needs to realize that. But no, she wants Caitlin Clark to be a cog in the system. Thankfully, it looks like she might be reluctantly running through Caitlin Clark because she doesn't want to lose her job, but still, yeah, it'll be a very, 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 very disappointing one if she doesn't. But anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.